Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, my voice sounds a little weird because I've been sick again, and then it's becoming a habit of my body, or a new thing that my body wants to do is to lose my voice when I have a simple cold. Anyways, I had a unique, or what I think is a slightly unique idea for a book video, and that was to incorporate my tarot card deck into my next book choice. So I thought I could let my tarot cards tell me what I should read next and just give me a little bit of guidance, because I have quite a sizable, I'm looking at them, I have quite a sizable stack of books that I want to read. And I'm currently reading several right now, and I need to finish those. But I kind of equally want to read all of them. There's none that are really standing out to me that I really want to pick up next. I feel really undecided about it. So I thought it'd be cool if I used my nice tarot deck and had some guidance from the cards just kind of tell me what I should read next. So I was going to draw some cards and then use whatever the meaning of the cards are to kind of make that choice. And obviously they aren't gonna give me a title or anything like that, but I would just have to use my intuition and try to just understand what the card's trying to tell me. So it might tell me, I might get a card that's about fortune or good fortune or business or wealth coming in the future. So I would have to take that meaning and sort of just interpret it to fit one of the books that I have. Or perhaps I might have to draw more cards. I've never asked the cards before about what I should read next. I've asked them about plenty of other things, but this is one thing I haven't done. But I'm going to switch this camera around and shuffle my cards and see what I should read next out of my TBR pile. All right, so I've got my cards here. And what you do before you draw a card, and this is what I was taught, I mean, everybody's going to have their own method, is you just kind of shuffle them up, not because they're not in any specific order and you need to really mix them up or anything. It's just more to ponder what you're going to ask. Just kind of put your energy into the cards. Whenever you feel done, you then just spread them out in a spread, and this is how I was taught. And you say what you need, and what I need is help picking my next TBR, or my next book that I want to read. Okay, so there are probably multiple ways to choose a card, but the way I do it is just you just pick what calls to you. And since this one popped out when I was spreading this out and it just kind of stayed as its own little individual card, I'm gonna go ahead and draw that one and flip it over. And it looks like it is 5. It's got pentacle, wand, sword, and lots of symbolism, cups. It's got everything in here. Looks like there's 2 little kittens that are being taught by an older, wiser cat. So I'm gonna lay this down and get back to you guys with the meaning of 5. Okay, so the meaning of 5 is pretty interesting. I looked in my little booklet here, and it says, learning about faith from a trusted teacher and guide who teaches by both books and examples, helping others to live their faith in their everyday lives. So, So definitely seeking a knowledgeable person, or seeking out, someone, a thing that has more knowledge than you, a person, a book, probably just realizing that you would even need the help. This is a teaching card. That's what I'm getting from this. Who teaches by both book and example. And it says helps, helping others to live their faith in their everyday lives. So really helping you to trust yourself. I mean, that's the card. That's the meaning that I'm getting from this card. And this is why tarot was so fun, because you have a meaning, but you really need to apply it to your own life, and it kind of helps you go inward and really examine yourself and your feelings about something. So what could that mean with a book? Let me pick up these cards and get the books and then get back with you guys. Okay, so I already have my books here next to me, and I'm going to go through these rather quickly because there's some that I already know. I don't feel like this card is guiding me toward. This speaks of like, you know, it's hard to put it into words, but I understand the general feeling of this card. And for me, it's, again, just trusting a teacher, a knowledgeable person or item or thing, to then trust yourself. I mean, I'm getting just a lot of trusting yourself through this in the upright position, you know, and receiving guidance for that. But then, you know, kind of like that teacher setting you out on your own journey. Like, I've given you your tools. Now you need to trust what I've taught you and trust yourself to know the right thing to do. So that's the interpretation I get from this. Let's see if I can make it apply to a book. Now, this one I went ahead and picked up. It's from my TBR shelf, and I don't think that this is it. This is called Meg by Steve Alton, and this is like about a deep sea adventure to find a monster, and I'm thinking that's not really it. Let's see. I have another one here. It's Middle Game by Shannon McGuire. I think that's how you pronounce that name. And this one, I can't remember exactly what's about. I bought it because Books and Lala loves it so much, and it went on sale at Book Outlet, or they had it in stock, and I just went ahead and got it. It's about twins and math, and they aren't exactly human, but they're not gods either. Let's see, it says godhood isn't attainable, is attainable, pray it isn't attained. So people that become gods. I don't know, because like not knowing what the book exactly is about, you know, some of you that have read the books I'm going to show you could be screaming through the camera that this is exactly what that card means, but I don't know, I'm not getting that vibe. That one's just a little confusing. Let's see, I also have The Birth House by Amy McKay, and this one, from what I remember, is like about a doctor, an obstetrician who is coming to like a small town in Canada and kind of taking over, and kind of like maybe bad-mouthing the midwives, or becomes like a thing where the midwives they're losing their business, or they aren't being as trusted to be in that, do their birth work in the birth community anymore, and that the women's births are kind of being taken over by an obstetrician who has a new way of giving birth, which is supposed to be painless. So like kind of modernizing birth. And I don't know if it's like a struggle of the midwives or if it follows a person who is pregnant, or I don't know. This is a possibility. It says, after Miss Babineau disappears, Dora is left to carry on alone. In the face of fierce opposition, she must summon all her strength and fight to protect the birthing traditions and women's wisdom that have been passed down to her. I don't know. This is a possibility now. Because like, that's kind of like the feeling I get is like, a wisdom that's been there for the ages. You know, midwives have been there basically since the beginning of time, and there's a new way that's coming in, and the doctor and the obstetricians are bringing this new way and this updated way, and I see this as being like the midwives needing, you know, despite, you know, that they're getting all this opposition and probably even some bad press for their birth work that they do, that they need to trust their intuition, this thing that they've been doing for years, a tradition that's passed down. And from what I understand of midwifery too, is it's a constant learning. It's a constant learning process, and you're always learning, you know, from the women who have been there and done that and delivered babies. And it is about trusting yourself, and because there is a lot of naysayers in the birth community, particularly when it comes to natural birth. So I'm going to set that aside as a possibility, because that's a really good one. I'm feeling like that might be a possibility. That might be what the card's referring to. Now let's see. The next one is, I think it's called Malakai. I feel like I'm really close to the camera. By Alan Brennert. And this is about Native Hawaiians. Yeah. And I don't know what time period this takes place in, but I know that the main character has leprosy and gets sent away from her island or her native culture. And I think it's just, yeah, like maybe like a sad story. Well, no, it says warmth, humor, and compassion. So I don't really know. I don't think that one was a possibility. I also have American Heart by Laura Moriarty, and this one is about, I think, a future America where Muslims are being rounded up to be put into detainment camps, and a girl who doesn't really care because she's not personally affected until one day she is. I think that's the synopsis that I'm remembering. I don't think that's a possibility. Let's see. I also have the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and I really don't know what this is about, except for it's in the future and it sounds really techy, and it's all like you're just reading files to get the story, and I don't know much beyond that. You know, I don't know, like, I think it's a love story. Not really speaking to me as a possibility. So let me see what else I have here. Now the last one I have, I think might possibly like work again. I'd have to read the synopsis again, but this one is Goodbye, Sweet Girl, a story of domestic violence and survival by Kelly Sundberg. So this one is about a woman who married what she thought was the man of her dreams, probably as a lot of people do, and he actually turns out really abusive. I think this is a memoir. I don't think this is fiction. And I think it's sort of like a self-exploration of how she ended up in that marriage, and breaking away from that and exploring her past and her childhood to see what could have led her to find herself in a violent marriage. And basically, I mean, it says it's a tale of like redemption. So like a coming back to yourself, a finding yourself type of book. And I think that this would sort of apply here because, you know, you have to learn to trust yourself again and trust that you know what's right when you've been a victim of domestic violence. So I feel like I could definitely tie this into here. So the question is, which one should I read? Because I could see this one being tied to the Hierophant, and definitely this one, kind of like that trusting of female knowledge that's been passed down through birth work. That one really spoke to me as a possibility. Let me read the definition of the Hierophant in this little booklet one more time. And this is like a very skimmed down watered thing. Like, I wish I had a tarot book to pull out, but usually I just use my phone. But this is about learning about faith from a trusted teacher and guide who teaches by both books and examples, helping others to live faith in their everyday lives. Now, the reverse meaning might be able to help me find deeper meaning in this card. So when you draw a card and it's reversed, it doesn't mean the same thing as when you draw it and it's upright. And the reversed meaning is following tradition with no real understanding or faith. And I keep coming back to The Birth House by Amy McKay, because midwifery, again, I mean, that's an ongoing tradition that's been around since the beginning of human beings having babies. But it's also not something that's you do flippantly. It's not one day you're like, I'm going to be a midwife, and then you just start catching babies. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, despite the fact that it's something that's been around since forever, and it will be around forever because there will always need to be baby catchers that respect and honor natural birth. But it's not like a casual thing that you can just become any old day. And you do have to trust your intuition, I feel like, as a midwife, as a birth worker, especially if you're bucking a new system that's trying to take over, for example, in this book, or one that has sort of taken over with the medicalizing, is that a word? Birth. So I think I'm gonna go with the Hierophant. Most matches The Birth House by Amy McKay. So that's what my tarot has told me to read. That's what I'm going to read. I would love to hear your thoughts and to see if you had any different sort of interpretations of what this card was trying to tell me to read. Again, I kind of wanted to go from a stack that I already had, that I already really wanted to pick from, and not have to seek out a book or anything. But give me your thoughts below on what you think this card meant, and if you had a differing opinion than the birth house, or let me know if you think that it lined up pretty well and you agree with my interpretation. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tried to do something a little bit different, you know, just for fun. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all again really soon.